Sandy didn't tell you that last night we had a marathon 6-hour-plus meeting of the Government Environment Committee in the Senate, in which the leadership of that committee, the Republicans, the chair is Gail Griffin, then the vice chair is Judy Burgess, and we have Chester Crandall and Kelly Ward to make out the Republicans on that. It's an interesting committee. You hear a lot of things from one side. That's what we had yesterday. There was a 3-hour informational hearing about the proposed EPA rules on limiting the nitrogen oxide emissions from coal-fired plants. And Sandy was not allowed to testify, nor was anyone else who was in favor of the EPA rules. It was all people who were against them. So we got 3 hours of people from all different types saying how this was going to fire thousands and thousands of people. It was going to destroy small business. It was going to cause the plants to get shut down. It was cause electricity to be shut off from large swaths of Arizona. Poor people would become poorer, and middle-class people would become desperately poor. And we heard a whole series of things of how this was going to bring the apocalypse down upon Arizona if we put in a few more scrubbers to get the nitrogen oxide out of the air. I asked a few questions of certain people. There was a union representative from the IBEW who was there who talked about the jobs being lost if this plant went through and they shut it down, but I pointed out to him, well, given how much money would be invested in putting these scrubbers in place, isn't it possible that if we just talked to the EPA instead of throwing bombs at them, we could get them to agree to use local labor to install these green technologies, and that could be a massive capital investment and a huge jobs project for Arizona for your workers? And he said, I hadn't thought about it that way. That could be really good.
Yeah, the light bulb.
There's a lot of ways you can think about things differently, and you don't see a lot of them from that type of leadership in a committee that is in charge of the environment, especially because most of those folks seem to see the world completely opposite as the way that we do. They don't trust scientists because they haven't personally verified all the data, as they believe that they know more than the scientists do. They don't therefore believe that there is such a thing as global warming, and it's just a grand conspiracy on the part of all you people, and all that power you have to control the world. And therefore there's no interest in reducing carbon emissions whatsoever. There's a whole different view of how things work, and that's frustrating. But there's good news this year. Last year we had a 21-9 Senate, 21 Republicans to 9 Democrats. That was a really tough couple of years to be in the legislature. It was 40-20 in the House. This year we've got 17 Republicans to 13 Democrats. The difference in numbers is powerful, but the difference in the people is more powerful. We no longer have Sylvia Allen. We no longer have Frank Antinori. We no longer have Lori Klein. We no longer have Ron Gould. And instead we have some, I mean, they're still conservative, but fairly reasonable conservative, moderate people, including a couple of people in leadership positions in the House Majority, the Senate Majority Caucus, who you can talk to and who actually trust scientists from time to time. So there's hope, and I really believe while the House gained a few more Democrats, the House still has some brand new Tea Party people who are going to want to demonstrate how far out they are, and that will be tough. But even when their bills get out of the House, I think the Senate has a capability of killing some really bad and stupid stuff.